Alright, so we're headed from Beaumont, Texas out to Houston today. Gonna go ride around with my buddy Elias and plan for an upcoming trip. In about 2 weeks, we're leaving on a West Coast trip. We are gonna trailer 3 bikes from Houston to Phoenix, Arizona. Compete the Iron Butt Association Bun Burner 1500 from Phoenix up through Las Vegas, up through Nevada, into like Idaho, Boise, cutting the corner of Oregon, up into Washington, all the way to Vancouver. We have to do 1,500 miles in 36 hours, a little bit insane, but whatever. From there, we're gonna basically meander our way, following the coast all the way down until we hit San Diego, head back to Phoenix, and then trailer back to Houston. Through about 3 weeks or so on the road. So probably the most important thing with this trip planning has been the gear list, because there's going to be some hot climates, there's going to be some temperate climates. It's already over 100 degrees Fahrenheit in Phoenix right now, so riding through the desert's going to be hot as fuck. So we got mesh gear, ice vests if we need them, but we can always just soak a t-shirt, so debating on if we're going to take up room packing for that. Because we're going to be on the road for so long and hotels get expensive, we're going to be camping for 3 nights and then staying in a hotel on night 4, wash and repeat. So I've got all my camping gear set up on the bike. And of course I want to document the whole trip, so I have like 3 GoPros, 2 Sony cameras, a drone, a little overboard maybe, but I don't know, it should be a pretty fun trip. The thing about adventure is though, you can do it anywhere, on any bike. The important thing is who you do it with. I mean, there are solo adventurers out there who enjoy going out on their own, but I don't know, for me personally, it's more fun when you're surrounded by the right people. So I've got 2 of my good friends going with me. It's kind of a trip for all of us, really, for different reasons. Elias is graduating college and has some time off, so it's his graduation present. AJ is getting a serious promotion at work, so it's kind of a promotion present for him. And I've got some shit going on in my life, and this will be my last big trip before that happens, so it's kind of a celebratory trip for me as well. As far as bikes go, I'm on a 2017 Super Tenere Yamaha, 1200cc parallel twin. It competes with all the other big bore adventure bikes, like the R1200 GSA from BMW, the Africa Twin from Honda. A lot of the reviewers call this bike boring, and I mean, it doesn't have the personality of the BMW or the KTM or anything, but it's pretty fun. I mean, not as much personality, but it's got Yamaha reliability, and that's what matters most to me. It gets me where I need to go. It carries as much stuff as a small pickup truck. Never gonna leave me stranded. AJ will be riding on a Yamaha FJR 1300, and then Elias is on a BMW K1200 GT. So our money is on the BMW breaking down, and if any of the bikes have a problem. So who am I? Why do I ride? Why am I making stupid videos? Well, I rode on and off ever since I was 16. Born and raised in Kentucky. Beautiful riding out there. Well, in 2011 moved to Arizona. Just continued to ride on and off. Joined the military, and in the summer of 2016 I got some temporary orders out to Hawaii. Hawaii, beautiful state, great weather. Figured why not? Rented a motorcycle for the time I was there. Absolutely beautiful riding, absolutely shitty drivers, and I got some first-hand experience there. August 2016, I was on my day off, headed to the mall. I was stopped on a 2-lane road waiting to turn left, and waiting on some oncoming traffic. I had turned my bike a little bit in my lane to basically when I had a gap in traffic, I was going to shoot straight across, and next thing I know, I got rear-ended. 22-year-old girl doing about 40 in a 25, not paying attention. Somehow didn't see me, even though I was wearing something as bright as this. So my left leg got pinned between the bike and the car. Shattered my tibia and fibula. tore apart a bundle of nerves, tore through 2 out of the 3 arteries that go to the foot. Recovery was a bitch and a half. I opted for limb salvage, so my leg is still attached. I've got a prosthetic leg brace now that I walk with. There's a lot of things that I want to get back to doing, but I haven't been able to. Mountain biking, snowboarding, hiking mountains, shit like that. And I can walk with this leg brace, but I've got a lot of issues with the leg. With the nerve damage and the vascular damage, I get a shit ton of nerve pain and a lot of very bad swelling. So I've already made all the doctor's appointments, already got everything scheduled, and I'll be getting my leg amputated this June. But I guess the main point I want to make is that, like, no matter what kind of shit you got going on in your life, I mean, you can always overcome shit. Look at this little biker. He should not be on this freeway on a bike that small. Little Z125 in a 75-mile-an-hour zone. That's just stupid. But hey, he's having an adventure and that's what counts, right? Now, recovery-wise, I spent about a year in Hawaii, unable to walk, unable to do anything after my accident. The military finally sent me off to Texas to Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, where I got this prosthetic leg brace. And it's been sort of a godsend. I mean, I can walk at least. That's better than I was doing in Hawaii. Made a lot of good friends in San Antonio. Well, April 2017 rolls around. Or sorry, April 2018 rolls around. And I got medically retired from the Army. And didn't really have much else to do, so I moved back to Arizona. Well, in the time I was gone from Arizona, the cost of living had skyrocketed. The wages were paying shit in the tech fields. So, and I still needed a shoulder surgery because I tore my labrum. So I decided to move back to Kentucky temporarily, be closer to family. It was nice to visit with them, and that way I could get the shoulder surgery and not have to worry about bills or a 9-to-5 job while I recover from that. And now I'm prepping to go back to Texas. I'm already back in Texas, but I don't really have a place to live here yet. Loaded all my shit in my SUV, put my FZ07 on a trailer. The Tenere was already in Texas. Long story, but I am very bad about leaving motorcycles in other states. So yeah, I towed all my stuff down here, visited some friends and family along the way, and now I'm in well, basically Beaumont, Texas at my buddy's place, but I'll be moving back to San Antonio. I'll be house shopping or apartment hunting next week in San Antonio, but then we leave on this trip, so I'm looking for a move-in around June 1st, and then mid-June the leg comes off. I'll spend most of the summer without a leg, waiting for the incision to heal and all that. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks, best case scenario, to get into a prosthetic after an amputation. So it's a lot of time to play around in Sony Vegas and do a bunch of computer work. And then once I get on prosthetic, I plan on kicking ass. I have no doubt in my mind, no doubt whatsoever, that the quality of life as an amputee will be better than the quality of life I have now. A lot of people ask me, what about the nerve pains? I already get those. I have a completely severed nerve, and I've got what's called a neuroma. Basically, the nerve ends grew and kind of made a hook turn, and are very close to the surface of my skin at one point, so there's a spot on my leg that if I touch, my entire foot and ankle feel tingly and hurts like hell. But I don't have any feeling in my foot and I can't move it, so what good is it doing me to keep it? If anything, it's just holding me back. Now, planning for a trip like this, Elias and I, we're the type to just sort of wing it. Shit works out in the end. AJ though, and I respect him for this, but he likes to plan every single detail, and it's good because he's basically saved mine and Elias's ass a time or two on trips. But sometimes it can be a bit tedious going through gear lists and route planning. But I do agree with him. When we're doing the Saddle Sower 15 or the Bun Burner 1500, look at that Ferrari and a Porsche. We're doing the Bun Burner 1500. We're going from Phoenix to Vancouver, and the fastest route is straight up the spine of Nevada, middle of nowhere. And there are some stretches where it's 150 miles between fuel stops, and when we're getting 200, 225 miles to a full tank, I mean, you really got to watch your fuel consumption, and you really got to be careful about running out. There's a few places where basically we cannot pass up a fuel stop because we will not make it to the next one. There's also not a lot in the way of medical services, obviously. There's nothing out there. No cell service, nothing. So if a rider goes down, worst case scenario, somebody gets injured, we're on our own. So luckily AJ and I have pretty decent training with medical shit. So and when I had my accident in 2016, I had to tourniquet my own leg. So hopefully we don't have anything that serious, but we're at least prepared and planned for it. As far as gear goes, I'm the official cameraman on this trip, so half of my space is taken up with very large camera equipment. So in my tank bag here, which the rain cover keeps bubbling up, I have a Sony A6400 mirrorless DSLR camera. I also have my med kit in here. On my face, obviously, I've got the GoPro Hero 4, and up here on the dash I have a GoPro Hero 7. Also in my camera bag right now I have a GoPro Session, but I've got a chest mount for that, so it'll likely go with Elias or AJ for some other bike footage. Right behind me on the passenger seat, you can't really see it too well, I have a roll top dry bag with all my camping gear in it. So I've got a thermarest, sleeping bag, and a tent. And then in my left side pannier down here, don't have it right now, but for the trip I'll have an extra gallon of fuel, some water, or probably a gallon of water, other camping or camera supplies, like I've got a miniature tripod that also doubles as a selfie stick, miscellaneous stuff like that. I've got a JBL speaker for in-camp. They don't know I'm packing that yet. Headlamp for in-camp. So all that camp gear is going to go in this pannier because it's the exhaust on this side, so that one's a little bit smaller. And then on the right side here, that one's going to have all of my clothes and personal belongings. I have just enough room in my top case to carry a couple small snacks. So if I want to get in here while riding and snack on some stuff, I can. This bike takes the weight pretty well though. We've got no complaints there. I mean, I'm doing 80 on the Speedo. I'm on some brand new Dunlop Road Smart 3 tires, front and rear, and they are handling incredibly well. They're still in that initial little break-in period, so I'm taking it kind of gentle around corners, but I've got no doubt in my mind that these tires will make the full trip without much complaint. As far as how I have my helmet set up, and I'm hoping I'm not jinxing myself here and that the wind's not blowing my camera around and the angle is good. So I've got a Sena 20S. So I've got that for Bluetooth music, navigation, phone, all that fun stuff. My phone is a Google Pixel 3 here in a RAM mount. And then my audio for the GoPro is actually run independently of the Sena. So I've got a lapel mic that I literally just wrapped the cable around the boom mic of the Sena mic. I've got a mic muff covering both mics, so if I do flip my modular helmet up, a little bit of wind protection on there. And then I've got the cable coming out and plugged into the side of my GoPro so that it can record audio off the mic instead of off the GoPro's mic where it would be getting nothing but wind noise. I had a similar setup on my Shoei RF 1200, and that's a full face non-modular helmet. And on that one I was able to stick the GoPro right up front. So this is my first time with the side mounted GoPro. We'll see how well that works out. I may have to make some adjustments. I'm also not too sure how shaky the footage is going to be on this because I can see this rail moving a little bit.